Hello and welcome back to another video, and in this one we continue our journey into the 1990s Lego sets. And in this one we've got set 6834, released in 1993. This is called the Celestial Shed. It's made up of 43 regular parts. They've all been checked. I don't include any of the extras or alternatives, and it also has one minifigure included as well. Now I did have some space stuff, but they're more the classic space, the Space Police and Blacktron 2, and I also had some kind of the Forest Man and the earlier Pirate. So this series of space stuff kind of passed me by. It's known as the Ice Planet 2002, but I've got this one and another couple to come, and I'm always a sucker for a translucent neon part, so I'm going to enjoy building this one. So let's take a look at the instruction manual. As you'd imagine for a set this small, the manual's also small, so you're looking at essentially a double-sided, almost A4 instruction manual. As you can see, this one's quite heavily creased. It's got a tear along one of the fold lines there, and also one there, but basically you've got building the minifigure, the main part of the ship, and then, as we'll come on to, then you then build the rear bit, and then you've got the rear imagery there. But let's just crack on with the build. So for our minifigure, we're looking at the black trousers, blue waist, and then this nice kind of black, blue and gold torso with the blue hands. Then has a set of white air tanks. His head, to me, just looks like a grumpy grandpa, but his name is actually, he's an Ice Planet Chief, also known as Commander Cold or Commander Bear, as you can see there. Open but block stud, as you'd expect from this era. And then he's got a white helmet with a kind of translucent neon visor with an aerial, so that pops onto the top there. Pretty cool and all put together. Moving on to the build now. So start off with the small base, and then we add on a couple of the skis on the outside, and then a couple on the inside. And these ones go flush, the inner ones, just like so. And then we're going to add on kind of, I call them the Technics bricks, the ones with the holes in, and then a black block at the front across those studs there. Can you see, you with me? Up at the top right you can see Ice Planet 2002, alluding to that series that I mentioned, not its actual release date, which was 1993. So on there we're simply just putting a couple of fours down, flat fours on each side, followed by a couple of these claws, I always refer to them as. Popping that down for a moment, we're now going to take this section, and again I refer to these as cannonballs, but I'm sure they're just open stud cylinders or something like that. And that's all you need to do on there, because then when it sits on the body, that simply just acts as a support on the front of the sled. Then building up the remainder here, we're just going for the longer one across the rear section, adding a couple of the grills on for decoration. And then this one uses the control panel that looks like this, which is quite nice, matched up to the image. It will be like that. And then we're going to add a few of the other bits on. So the aerial on the right hand side, I think this is called a chainsaw ancillary piece, so the chainsaw will go on there. And then the nice sloped front with the iconography on there, which is also rather nice. Now the last thing to go on is this section. As anyone knows, whenever you have a hole on these kind of Lego sets, and one of these, it means that you're going to get that great feature where you have a vehicle where something will attach and detach from it, and that's exactly what we have here as we flip over to the rear section and start to build this up. So got this part here, triangular parts. We'll add on the hole here, a couple of these kind of grabbers, and then a four just to go across and hold them in place. Then going to add the other bit here that's going to connect into the rear of the main part of the vehicle. A couple of the white flat ones in here, and then we're going to have to put on one of these just to kind of level it all out, so that all looks good. Once we've done that, the flat 2x3 will then go across the top, with the other cannonballs just sitting on here. Moving up to number 6, we're going to start adding some more details. So we've got this kind of socket section here, which has the cylinder and the smaller dish, so this one here, attached on. Kind of a thruster or a booster or something like that. So pop that in. On top here we've got another of the grills and 2 of these. For some reason this is another part I really like. I don't know why, but I just love its unusual shape. So how are we going to put that on? So this is all built on. That's the, so yeah, that should just be able to reach down and yeah, and connect on. Oh, and of course that's now also going to sit on the studs of the parts underneath. And then what do we finish off with? What's the difference here? So grill, oh yeah, so we're going to add on that. And then I think you can still see Tanya with me up there. So what we've got is we're going to add on this section here, couple of skis here, and then finally what looks to be another radar dish. So small white stud, another dish, another stud, and that will all just click onto here. So that's pretty cool. And so that's everything all built. So at this point here we now have the main ship, the figure and the rear section, and then when we pop it all together it looks like that. And we pop him in, sat on the console. There, so that's all finished. Now I'll just pop that down and then we'll have a little look at the review. But one thing I noticed and we'll have a look at here is this little bit where the engine seems to have been put on and he seems to be holding the chainsaw. I'm not entirely sure where they where it implies those sledge parts would go, because you can't see them on there. So let's just fold this back up because it was nicer next to it. And we'll move on to the review. So that's actually the first time I've ever completed the build of this. I'm always a fan of neon stuff. I think the neon orange and the blue works well, although I prefer kind of the black and the yellow theme. I think that does work. Interesting idea with the skis on. Nice proportion of model, which is good. I particularly like the rear, that looks great. And the fact that as you're going along, of course, you could be picking up your transmissions as you're bombing along on the surface. But I always love the ones with vehicles where they detach. So if we remove this rear section, obviously that's him then setting up base, comes along, sets up the satellite dish. But what I did notice off that other imagery was the whole point in this section is that you can then detach your thruster, because you've been flying along with this stowed. You then attach the thruster back onto this vehicle, and that then allows you to actually shoot off and leave this section here. Now in one of the other bits he's walking around with a chainsaw. I'm not too sure where the skis are actually supposed to go. If anyone's got, and this is not just one of those ones where leave it in the comments, I generally am not sure what you're supposed to do with these skis, because you know they've got these bits that are supposed to clip onto stuff, but they're not going to go into his feet, are they? So and there's no imagery, it's only in there, and the other image that you saw didn't have them in, so I generally don't know where those skis are supposed to go. But I do like the fact that it's you know it's detachable and allows you to set up the base, and then when you're ready to go, pop the thruster back onto the rear, reattach your cargo, and off you shoot. All nice and flush on the bottom as well, that's always good. So yeah, in summary, that was the Celestial Shed, released in 1993, 43 parts with the one minifigure. I really like the colour scheme. I've seen them slightly better with the translucent, but it does work. But as always, I like the fact I like the rear section, and I like that detachable part with the dish. I'm just not entirely sure what you're supposed to do with the skis. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. And until the next one, all the best, take care, and see you.